everybody has stuff. I had to completely master my mindset. When you're physically abused by a parent, you don't feel worthy, you don't feel loved, you don't feel wanted. It's a lot of mental junk that goes on. And let me say, I didn't talk about this for a long time, but my coach, Russell Brunson, I remember I was at Funnel Hacking Live 2 years ago, and the entire training was about, really making people understand that you're human, right? Because a lot of times we see people and, we make assumptions about them. We just assume that they are more wealthy, or they had a good upbringing, or they're naturally, predispositioned to be more athletic, or we make assumptions that they're better than us, or they just had it easier. And so those assumptions, those are like limiting beliefs, quite frankly, and they keep us from succeeding because we give ourselves excuses as to why we can't do it. So Russell had this training. He talked about how important it was to get people to believe in themselves, and how by talking about your story and your own past, how you can really, really help somebody. And so I remember I got on the plane and I was bawling, literally bawling. I took out this yellow paper and I wrote a letter to my mom. Now, first of all, I want to say this. My mom is one of my favorite people in the world. I love my parents so much. But the reason I asked my mom for permission to share the story is because she has a lot to do with it. So I haven't lived at home since I was 13 years old. My mom was physically abusive to me growing up. And I remember one time I was in, the bathtub was filled, and my head was getting slam dunked up and down in the water, and I was choking, and my head was hitting the porcelain. And then my mom would cry and she would say, "I'm sorry, I love you." And it was like this. So it was almost like I lived two lives, because I had this really happy family childhood. My dad was like father of the year. But he worked from 6 a.m. to 6 at night. So there's a lot of pressure on my mom. My mom had a really, really horrific upbringing. I will not go into that. That's her story. But when I was born, she had all these memories. And so she was physically abusive to me. So when I turned 13, I started running away from home because I couldn't handle the abuse anymore. I remember I was living in my RVs. I was living in my friends' closets at night when their parents were sleeping. I'd sleep in their closets. I was living in abandoned cars. And over a year, I'd run away. They'd catch me. I'd run away again. Like, I wouldn't stay home for long at all. And no one knew what was happening. When you're abused, you rarely tell anybody, right? Like, I was embarrassed. I was afraid. I was ashamed. I was scared. Like, I remember always waking up with that scared feeling. And the abuse was so bad that I wet the bed until I was 10 years old. I wet the bed until I was 10. And they realized when I was in second grade that I couldn't read. So they put me into a special education class. All of this was from the abuse. So after about a year of running away, I ended up breaking the law. I ended up breaking into my 8th grade school, and while the girls were at PE, we snuck into the windows and we stole all of their clothes and their lunch money. We didn't have clothes and we needed money. So we got arrested for that. They sent me to Juvenile Hall, and I remember in Juvenile Hall, it was the scariest thing. I didn't belong there. I was a good kid, right? I was having a bad circumstance. And I remember the first week that I was there, this really tall, I think I remember her being like 8 foot tall. She wasn't that tall, but she was like this really tall lady, this girl. She took this other girl's head in the bathroom and she started slamming her head against the porcelain toilet and just bashed this girl's head open. Blood was everywhere. I was so afraid. I thought to myself, I'm going to die in this place. Well, I didn't die. Let me just tell you what you do. If you ever get incarcerated, make friends with the scariest person there. So I made friends with her. Once she finally got out, we became besties, and they made us be roommates. And I was like, I'm going to make this girl like me because I don't want to get my butt kicked, right? I was so afraid of her. I was in Juvenile Hall for about 3.5 months, and then they sent me back home. And I remember calling my probation officer and saying, I can't stay here. Things have not gotten better. And my dad did not know what was happening. So I'll never forget my dad when I was leaving before that though, so after Juvenile Hall, I got sent to a group home for a year. That group home was called Hidden Hills for Girls. Okay. There was nothing hidden about it because they dropped us off in this huge green bus every day labeled Hidden Hills Group Home for Girls, which basically told everybody else in that school that we were screw-ups. So the kids made fun of us. They didn't talk to us. They shamed us. We felt even more unloved and unwanted because people at high school did not talk to the girls that were in the group home. So I stayed there for a year. Then I got sent back home. And very quickly I realized I'm not going to be able to stay here. Things were not different, right? My mom was just still hard. So I called my probation officer and told him that I had to leave. So he arranged for me to go to a foster home. And so I never remember leaving my front. I was leaving to go to the foster home. My dad was in the front yard crying and begging me not to leave. He was like, Krista, please, we could figure this out. Please don't leave. Please don't go. We can do this. We can do this. He didn't know what was happening. I cried for 3 months. Like, it was the hardest ride to my foster parents' house, right? And I lived in a foster home from the rest of high school. And when I turned 18, after I graduated, the foster parents kicked me out because their money wasn't coming in. And so I have not lived at home since I was 13 years old. I wet the bed until I was 10. I couldn't read until I was in 4th grade. I have a severe learning disability. I'm telling you this because everybody has stuff. I had to completely master my mindset. When you're physically abused by a parent, you don't feel worthy. You don't feel loved. You don't feel wanted. It's a lot of mental junk that goes on. So I have had to stop, snap, and switch like crazy. And I made the choice one day, like, I'm going to have an amazing life. So I just became relentless about educating myself and studying and learning how powerful my mind was. I'm at a point now where I don't believe there isn't anything that I can do. Like, I know I can do anything. Okay. I can't do things like fly or, disappear, but I mean, things that are possible. Like, I just believe in myself. I've developed that mindset. Let me tell you something. When you are physically abused by a parent, you are screwed up. It takes a lot of work and work to get better. I'm telling you this because I know that some people look at people and they think that they are just unicorns. There is nothing unicornish about me. I have had to work my butt off for every single thing that I have wanted. And the reason why I sold 69 houses my first year, people, when my husband left me and drained my bank accounts, was because of the fact of what I had gone through when I was younger. Keeping my kids in their home and keeping them safe was so important to me. And now you know why. My burning desire was to keep them safe because of me not having my own safety needs met when I was young. Okay. And please don't feel sorry for me. My mom is such an amazing woman. She helped me heal. Like, I remember after I graduated from high school and I did a lot of counseling, the counselor helped me confront my mom, and my mom did everything she could. She went to counseling with me. She told my dad what had happened. She told my brothers what had happened, because I always felt like they blamed me for leaving, because when I left, the family got totally screwed up. Right. And so, but here's what I'll tell you. My mom, about 2 years ago, I was at her house. We were having wine and, talking, and she just started bawling. And she's like, I'm so sorry for what I did to you when you were younger. I have such guilt. Guilt, by the way, is like a useless emotion. And I said, Mom, I'm happy that you did what you did to me, because I'm a badass now. Like, you made me awesome, right? Like, I'm a fighter, I'm a survivor. And I also told her, Mom, because of what you did, it helps people relate and helps me be more relatable and helps them understand, like, you can't use excuses. You just have to do. There's no one coming to save you but you. Okay? There's no one coming to save you but you. You are the only one responsible for creating the life that you deserve, and you deserve it.
Hey there, I have a brand new podcast called Fired Up with Krista Mashore, where I bring my high energy right to your ears. This podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. So do me a favor, go subscribe and leave a review. All this information is free, and I cannot wait to teach you everything I know. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day. fire, more often than not, you're going to get better and better at video content as you start to get. Hi, I'm Krista Mashore, Krista Mashore Coaching, and we help people just like you. If you're in real estate, you're a coach, consultant, or any kind of professional, we teach you how to utilize social media and video to dominate your marketplace. So what are the best tools that you should be using to create video content? Here's a secret for you. Ready? Shh. Don't overanalyze it. I mean, look at right now. I've got like 3 missing fingernails, but hopefully you don't care. People are more concerned with the actual content that's in the video than the actual video production. In fact, there's research to support this, right? You don't have to be perfect. I just made a mistake right there. The idea is just to do it. The idea is to create content that is engaging, that solves people's problems, that serves people. Don't worry about the graphics. Just start. So many people are getting ready, they're aiming, but they never actually fire, right? And if you fire, more often than not, you're going to get better and better at video content as you start to get better and feel more comfortable. And here's the thing. At first, no one's really going to be watching anyways, and that's okay. You don't want them to, because you're going to probably suck at first. You're going to suck. But the idea is you'll get better as time goes by. You'll get better and better. And then you can start adding graphics in later. When I first started doing video, I was not the best. I was absolutely, completely petrified of it. I was terrified. I made mistakes all the time. It took me an hour, what takes me now 2 minutes to do. But as I kept practicing and continuing to be perfectly imperfect, but just taking action and being consistent, now it's easier for me. And here's the deal. Nobody wants perfect. No one likes perfect, right? People like people that are like them, and we are all imperfect human beings. So the only thing you need to create good video content is engaging content, right? You need to be solving a problem, helping people, serving, not selling. Make sure there's no crazy noise, going on like planes going overhead or train horns blowing off. Make sure there's no dirty video or dirty underwear in the background. Make sure you have a nice, cute looking background. Make sure you're actually looking in the camera. So many people look up here. And make sure that you've got some really, really good light, right? Light that is in front of you, not behind you. If you've got light that's behind you, natural light, you're gonna look blurred out, you're gonna look gray. You want the light to be in front of you. You don't even need fancy lights. You just need a nice window in front of you. The natural lighting is the absolute best. In fact, do me a favor right now. Take your camera, go in front of a window, and look how pretty it looks. And then put the window behind you, and you're going to see just how different the video looks and how much clearer it is. So don't overthink it, people. Just start creating content, and you can use things like iMovie or other really inexpensive, affordable type of apps to generate graphics at a later time. But just start. Be consistent. Be committed to producing content. Be committed to solving the problems and being engaging. Help your client avatar. Help that customer that you're going after. So I hope this was helpful. I know you wanted me to tell you to make sure that you get, this certain camera or this certain thing. But the bottom line is most of you just need to start. Be yourself. Be authentic. Be perfectly perfect. Be perfectly imperfect, right? Make mistakes. Take action. We have so many people we teach to create videos, and they don't ever put them out there to the world because they're embarrassed. But here's the deal. That's how you look. That's how you sound. And I can think of some pretty amazing billionaires that don't exactly look the best. And you can't walk through life with a bag over your head. So the idea is just do it. Okay, I'm Krista Mashore, Krista Mashore Coaching, and we help people just like you dominate their industry utilizing video, but most importantly, properly distributing it so they get hundreds of hours of watch time and views so that they can attract more customers and clients. So if this is something that you're interested in, do me a favor, fill out the form below, and let's get you started.
Hey there, I have a brand new podcast called Fired Up with Krista Mashore, where I bring my high energy right to your ears. This podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. So do me a favor, go subscribe and leave a review. All this information is free, and I cannot wait to teach you everything I know. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day.